So, where are my makers? We love to make things, and who's interested in 3D printing? Okay, well, you've come to the right spot because we're going to talk about how to get started with this fabulous hobby. So, as mentioned, I teach at Johnson County Community College in Overland Park, Kansas, and I am very enthusiastic about making and printing and software, so I write a lot of books on the subject. I have been 3D printing for 20 years, and I started with one of those big old Stratasys printers that were a fortune, that we had to get grant money for, and the software was also a fortune. Modeling software cost a lot of money. However, now printers are cheap. Software is cheap or free, and consequently, makers all over the world are prototyping and iterating and tinkering and making their own designs and using them and selling them. And the picture here is something I have fun with. Anyone use AutoCAD? Well, you might recognize that as an AutoCAD block that I modeled and turned into a coaster. So I have a whole set of architectural coasters that I keep meaning to put on Shapeways and sell, but then I get distracted with other things. So to get started in 3D printing, it helps if you have an idea of what you want to make, because that will guide what kind of software you decide to learn and what kind of printer you decide to buy. I think everyone has probably seen all the cosplay parts, right? People love printing these, but there is so much more you can do, because now 3D printers make all the things. They make big things. People are printing buildings. A building can go up in 24 hours. These are giant props that a dance company commissioned. You can print tiny things. That's called nano printing. That castle you see on the left fits on the tip of that pencil on the right. And nano printing is used for medical injectables, among other things. Construction companies are printing building components. Designers are printing furniture. We've got some great outdoor furniture and planters shown there. Clothing designers are using 3D printing because there's flexible filament. I know a futurist who believes that not too long from now, hotels will have 3D printers in each room, and you can order up something that you might have forgotten to bring. How's that sound? Just print up a pair of pants for yourself and let it print overnight. Architects have been using 3D printers for architectural models for years now. It beats the old chipboard and straight pins and glue. And prosthetics are a big thing now with 3D printing. In fact, there's a whole org called Enable that you can volunteer with so you can help assemble prosthetics to be shipped to people all over the world. Chefs, how do you like this? You can print food. The Foodini is a popular culinary printer where chefs and bakers can now create confections that they would never have been able to make with traditional cooking methods. And artists are also creating jewelry that they couldn't do with traditional casting methods, and some of them are being discovered through online venues like Shapeways, which we'll talk about in a bit, and they're being hired by department stores to custom design unique jewelry just for them. If you're into t-shirts and decals, you can design and print decals straight from the printer onto your shirts. And who doesn't like making molds for soap and ice and chocolate and Jell-O? Make Legos, make skulls. You can make prints of whatever you want and cast a mold around them, and you'll be the only one in town with that kind of mold. This is a big niche for a lot of makers. You can make Lithophanes. A lithophane is a print of a picture, and when you light it up, the picture actually shows up. So everyone wants a picture of their dog these days, and you can make a nice side gig, make nice side gig money by printing up lithophanes of people's dogs and selling them to them on night lights and lamps. I love to print consumer goods. These three things that we're looking at, one is a bicycle mug holder. The other is a jewelry box. Why does a jewelry box have to be closed? I like to hang my jewelry on hands. And the third, we're going to talk about how to do something similar today. You can make a print from a sketch that you scribble by hand, a sketch that you make with Adobe Illustrator, a sketch that you download from the web. You can easily turn that into a model and print that. And I'm going to show you how in a little bit. So let's talk about, as promised, where to start. How do you get started making all these great things? You need a model. A model is a 3D digital drawing. And where do you get a model? Well, if you're impatient and you want to start right now, you can download a model from one of the many online libraries that there are. Look at on the left there, I list some of the most popular ones. Models can be free. They can have a small cost. You can commission them from people who hang out on the forums for these different libraries. And then you can download the STL file. An STL file is a file format that 3D printers need. So you make the model in software, you export it as an STL, and then again, many millions of people upload their STL files to these libraries. So download it and get going. But if you want to design your own ideas and solve your own problems, then you need to learn how to use modeling software. And you have a lot of choices there too. You can see on the left, I've written out just some of the more popular software programs for modeling that there are. There is no one best. It gets back to, what do you want to make? There are solid modelers, surface modelers, organic modelers, reality capture modelers, and now there are even artificial intelligence modelers where you tell it what you want and it tries to come up with a solution for you. So depending on what it is you want to make, one of those different modelers will be the best for you. Now, I like Tinkercad. I'm very partial to this. Tinkercad, and for our friends on YouTube, let me just show them this. Tinkercad is a free web app that was designed specifically to get you up and running fast with solid modeling. It's a simplified solid modeler. You can make a lot of great things with it, and it was designed so that you can 3D print what you make. Now, I have 2 videos coming up, very short, I promise, about a minute each, and I want to show you how easy designing with Tinkercad can be. And in these videos, I am solving my own problems very quickly and ending up with a 3D printed solution. So the first one, I needed a custom switch plate, and there it is. I'm probably the only person in the world with that switch plate. I'm very proud of it. And I'm going to show you why I needed it and how I created it. I'm going to do that now with a short video.
A cable installer left my home looking like this. When I complained about the appearance of the switch plate, he said this was the only way he could do it. All right, arguing wasn't getting me anywhere, and I didn't want to look at that broken switch plate forever.
Let me start this over.
So,
let me just start that over.
A cable installer left my home looking like this. When I complained about the appearance of the switch plate, he said this was the only way he could do it. All right, arguing wasn't getting me anywhere, and I didn't want to look at that broken switch plate forever, so with Tinkercad and 3D printing, I came up with a solution. I went to the Tinkercad gallery, clicked the magnifying glass, and searched for switch plates. Here's one, looks perfect. Click Copy and Tinker. And here it is. Now I'll drag a cube into the work plane and adjust its size by simply moving these grips. Going to eyeball it in place, maybe make it a little wider, then select it and click Whole. Select both parts and click on Group. And there you have it, a custom switch plate.
Now, how easy was that to do? Think everyone could start out doing something like that? That's Tinkercad. That's how you start making your 3D prints and solving your own problems. Now, here is my next problem. Halloween's coming up, and I wanted a bat cookie cutter. So anyone can go out and buy one, right? But that's not what makers do. We like making our own cookie cutters, our own stuff. So I could have drawn with a pencil a bat. I could have gone to Adobe Illustrator, but being lazy and in a hurry, instead I went to the web and found a bat cookie cutter that I liked and turned it into a model and then into a 3D print. And I'm going to show you how I did that.
In this video, we'll use Tinkercad, a web sketch, and an online converter to make this 3D printable cookie cutter. Find a sketch on the web that you like. I searched for bats because I wanted to make a Halloween cookie cutter. Once you find the sketch you want, crop it And the most successfully converted sketches are typically black and white with crisp, clear, defined edges. There are a lot of online converters. I used this one, onlineconvert.com. Open an online converter and then find Image Converter and choose Convert to SVG. Upload the file and then click Start to convert it. Once it's converted, download it. Next, import the SVG file into Tinkercad. Click Import, upload the file, you have some settings you can change. Click Import, and it will come in as a solid 3D file. Scale it down. You can just drag it, or you can type in exact numbers in the text fields. Select it. Click on Fill Mode, Inner Line, and there's your cookie cutter.
Now, how easy is that? Raise your hands if you think you could easily do that. Does that look fun? This is how easy it is to get started with designing your own ideas in Tinkercad. Now, here's another real fun way to start designing to start making models. You can make models from photos, and this is called reality capture. You walk around the object with your phone, just like I'm showing in that middle graphic, taking pictures at different levels. Then you send them to a software program to stitch together, and the software returns you the model. There it is on the right. Now, how fabulous is that? This is for when you want to quickly create a base to edit, but you don't want to model the whole thing from scratch. That would have taken me a long time to model in an organic modeler. Instead, I just took pictures of it, sent it to software like, well, there are phone apps. You can just do a search at your app store for reality capture programs. Polycam, Autodesk Recap is a desktop program, more robust. They'll turn what you need into a model, and you have all kinds of choices over even how dense and detailed you want that model to be. So once you have the model, you bring it into another software program. I brought this into Mesh Mixer, which is a free Autodesk program. I cut a hole in it, and there is my candy jar for Halloween. So I'm the only one that has that candy jar, and I like that. So this is how easy it is to get started creating your own models and printing them up. There's a whole business, 3DHQ, that puts you inside a scanner, takes pictures of you, and then 3D prints you up. And they sell these as Christmas ornaments and wedding toppers. I mean, who doesn't want to see themselves hanging on the Christmas tree, right? So there you go. Get yourself scanned and hang yourself up on the tree, because this is what there's a whole business designed to help you out with. And for the really, I don't want to say lazy, let's just say progressive or forward-looking, there's a program called Meshy that you ask to make the models for you, and it will do its best. I say that because I've used it, and sometimes it needs a little help. But it can do most of the work pretty well for you. Or if the model is real simple, it can create the whole model for you. And who here is a fan of ChatGPT? Is everyone using that? Okay, I'm surprised. I don't see a lot of hands. I would really encourage you to go to openai.com, open an account. You can get a free version of chat. And it's amazing what that program can help you out with. And I tested it out with asking it if it would create STL models for me. And it did. It made simple models for me. I mean, I don't know where this all is going. I mean, eventually, what are we going to do but press buttons and ask software to do things for us? But the point is, ChatGPT has created models for me just for asking. Now, once you've got your model, you've got to print it. And I am often asked, how expensive is it to get started with 3D printing? It's not. You go to Amazon, you can buy printers for $99 on sale. Now, it depends, of course, how much you want to fiddle with them, and the cheaper ones are going to take a lot of fiddling, but there's all price points, and at this point, as cheap as they are, there's no reason for every aspiring hobbyist and tinkerer, there's no reason not to have one on your desktop. And what kind of printer should you get? Well, again, what do you want to make? The two main ones for consumers are FDM and SLA. And I'm going to go to cut. This is SLA, resin. I don't know if you can tell here, but it's very detailed. It gives you incredibly detailed results. So if you are doing jewelry casting or something where you have a need for tight tolerances and smooth detailed settings, you want a resin. This is my Darth Vader Christmas topper. This is filament. This is an FDM is good for quick iterating and prototyping. You don't get the kind of detail with resin that you get with filament, but depending on what the model is, it's perfectly fine. I love to make phone holders. This is my big thing, and I use filament because I don't need a whole lot of detail, and then I can just stick my phone in it at the breakfast table, ignore my family while I'm on my phone, and this holds it up perfectly for me. This is another phone holder. I like to either design or download figures and just add a base. In Tinkercad, you can add that base real quick. And here's that cookie cutter. Again, this printed up in about 20 minutes. So these are all filament, and they work very well. Filament is rolls of spool plastic, and the SLA is a tank of liquid resin. And again, here's an example, filament on the left and resin on the right. So you can see the detail. People who like to print figurines will need a resin printer. Again, there's all kinds of price points. 168, 559, 149. It depends on the features you get, what you need it to do. It's sort of like razors, though, where they sell you the printer or the razor cheap and the blades is where you keep spending the money. The filament and resin can run up, but again, there's all different price points for both of them. Resin can be $500 a bottle. That's what they use for dental casting, or it can be $16 a bottle. So if you don't have a printer or you don't want to mess with the maintenance and all that, there are a lot of options for that now too. A lot of libraries have maker labs, and you can just go there and typically for free use their equipment. Your town might have a maker space. This is Hammer Space in Kansas City, a fabulous maker space that's very popular. Okay, 5 minutes, did you say? Okay. Then there are online service bureaus. Shapeways is one of my favorites, and you can, like an Etsy store, set up your own shop and sell your designs, and Shapeways will print them to whoever's browsing and wants to buy, and you get a commission for each one that's sold. So finally, to wrap it up, if you want to learn Tinkercad and Fusion, Fusion is a program that people from Tinkercad typically graduate to when they feel they've outgrown it. I highly recommend those books. And you can connect with me at YouTube, where I have lots of tutorials of how to use Fusion and Tinkercad and other programs. And I will be in the Maker Shed after this if you'd like to discuss 3D printing further.
Awesome. Thank you, Lydia. Can we get a round of applause?
Thank you.
We got a couple minutes if anyone has any questions.
I just want to give you an update. Shapeways is no longer in existence. I don't know if she's listening. They went out of business a few weeks ago, completely shut down. So you'll change your slides. I don't know a replacement for them. They were spectacular, but they are no longer around.
I had no idea, and I'm just devastated. Well, Materialize and Xometry, I hope, are still there.
That's still there. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. You're
Okay.
amazing. This was concise. It was deeply informative. It was engaging. You're a rock star. You're a rock star.
Thank
and,
you.
Yeah, please give it up.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time to share with us today. I have a quick question about patents, because I noticed that you're creating some pretty unique items. And unfortunately, on the internet, because I'm an artist, it's very easy for people to take a look at it and with all of the advanced technology, recreate or reproduce what you have and then sell it online for half the price. So do you patent your pieces, or how do you protect these items?
This is a subject, the protection of intellectual property, that is being discussed very heavily in academia, and there is no answer, because anyone can lift your stuff, edit it, and what are you going to do? No, this is a huge, huge problem. And you know, here's the irony. The counterfeiters, like of earrings, designer earrings, and handbags have been around forever. And software like this and 3D printing has brought counterfeiting to the masses. You don't need giant factories anymore. I don't have an answer for you. It's ugly.
Time for one more question, maybe? Mm-hmm. Any question? Oh.
All your information that you have printed here, can I get a printed copy of it somehow? Do I need to?
Contact me through my YouTube channel, and I will send you a PDF of this.
Perfect.
Anyone who wants that, I'll send you a PDF.
And I can obtain your email where?
It's on my YouTube channel. You can, or you can get, yeah, just go to, hold on.
Just go to the Maker Shed
Here.
booth, and you'll be at the Maker Shed booth.
Right,
And you can
and
talk
I
and
can
exchange
answer you
information.
there, but this is my YouTube and my email's there, and feel free to connect with me there. Okay?
Thanks
Thank
again,
you
Lydia. That
all
was awesome.
for showing up.